All right, Shalom, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, the honors to my apostle and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to you brothers out there pushing his word in true sincerity. So I have this article on RT, and it's named Coke, Meth, and Booze, the flip side of Permian oil boom. Okay, so I want to go through this article a little bit. I didn't really have any scriptures uh, off top. You know, some are coming to my mind once I start reading on the article. But this goes to show you that this American work culture, it creates a drug culture. Okay, and that's why so many Americans are on drugs. That's why they're addicted to drugs. So this article is briefly going to go into some of the flip side of this American work culture, which is nothing but slavery. And with that breeds aches and pains, mental stress. And how do you escape all those things? You dive into drugs. That's why America is known for their drugs. All right, so like I said, you can just Google the article, okay? So it says the fastest growing oil region in the U.S. is fueling not only the second American shell revolution, it's fueling a subculture of drugs and alcohol abuse among oil field workers, which is not really even a subculture because this is American culture. Okay, drug culture is American culture, and I seen it even working in the San Francisco, seeing these people come from these startups, seeing these people come from these different buildings. I seen somebody come out from work and just hit a pipe, and this is just like a regular so-called white person. I seen people in suits buy drugs. Okay, and a lot of my clients told me that they used to do drugs. And I'm not talking about just smoking pot, so to speak. I'm talking about hard drugs, opioids, heroin, cocaine. You know, Esau's drug of choice is cocaine, sniffing. The Permian shale play in West Texas is once again booming with drilling and is full of oil field workers, some of which are abusing drugs and alcohol to help them get through long shifts, harsh working conditions, and loneliness and isolation. So this is the reason why you turn to drugs, not to party and turn up. All right, contrary to popular belief. All right, you do have people that do those things to have a so-called better time when they go out. But for the most part, those who use drugs are trying to escape a certain reality, trying to escape pain, trying to escape these harsh working conditions because the world says, okay, you lazy Americans, but really, Americans are the hardest working on the planet Earth. This the culture of America is predicated on slavery. Are the very people that actually built up America actually were enslaved, and they had to do it. So that culture is just appropriated and just recycled. Okay, and then you people you work because you want money. You want money so you can be justified by your peers, so you can appear like you're doing well. You want that Tesla, you want that BMW. That's why you put on these long, hard hours, okay? And you subjugate yourself to these extreme conditions because you are chasing after the American dream. All right, but one thing that you did not take in consideration is that in order to keep up those habits, you have to turn to drugs. You have to turn to a life of addiction. Drugs are easily accessible in the Permian, which is close to highways and to Mexico. For oil field workers making six-figure salaries, money is not a problem to buy all kinds of illegal substances to shoot, snort, and swallow to get through 24-hour plus shifts. You see these type of working conditions where it's just total wickedness. You got people working 24 hours at a time. Okay? And how do you bait and entice these people to do that? Look how much money you can make. You can make 150,000. Okay, with no experience. You can make 200,000. All right, you just got to come out to these oil fields. Monterey calling me. The physical exhaustive work also sometimes causes aches for workers. Working them successful to getting hooked on prescription painkillers, which that just goes to show you that's them opioids, man. Are you people here in America? You have to have opioids, and where's America getting these opioids from? These different these poppy seeds, poppy fields, over there in Afghanistan, over there in South America, and it's being funneled to satiate the overwhelming drug abuse here in America, because everybody here is addicted on drugs, whether it's prescription drugs by big pharma or it's by street drugs. It's coming in where you can just get it, and street drugs are cheaper, so people tend to go to street drugs before they will go to these pharmacias, these pharmacists, or they don't have enough money, or they don't have enough money, or their insurance got cut off. So what do? They turn to a life of taking drugs, because they're in pain. They're literally in pain. They're working 24 hours out of the day, 16 hours out of the day. All right, the medical field, the medical system has failed them. Okay, so what do? They use these drugs to satiate their pain, satiate their mental stress. Okay, they're not around women. All right, they're isolated. So this is the culture of America. That's why America is so degraded as it is right now. The drug and alcohol abuse subculture in Permian is known yet rarely reported or discussed. They're talking about the collusion with Russia. They're talking about Trump, how he was dealing with a prostitute, a porn star. See, the real issues of America and what's going on is not pushed out on the forefront in the media. They don't want you to know these things. These things are on hush hush. Issue in the most prolific U.S. shale play, where oil production is booming, and relentless drilling attracts oil field workers from all over Texas and all parts of the United States. In Midland, in the very heart of Permian oil boom, the Springboard Center, a drug and alcohol addiction treatment facility. All right. If America is so great, why the hell do you have all these drug and alcohol addiction treatment facilities popping up everywhere? Okay, because you people work all these damn long hours, then the mental stress, you getting fucked with demons, your woman leaving you, your kids turn into a life of crime, your house gets burnt down. Okay, and then you get addicted to heroin, you get addicted to opioids. Now you got to go into a treatment facility. Has many clients from the oil fields. Christopher Pierce, director of marketing for Center, tells Rig Zone's Valerie Jones. Now you have all these different oil field workers making hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you work on the oil fields, you're gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, as a low level worker. And where is that money gonna be spent on? It's going to be spent on, the majority of the time, it's going to be spent on drugs. Okay, and then they're going to be tricking off. Then you're going to have prostitutes come in, because they're going to see, okay, these dudes have money. There's no women around them, and then that's just going to breed more of a life of crime. So these so-called big oil companies, they're stimulating the economy in a negative way. You had something you want to say?
Oh yeah, dude at my job actually used to work at an oil company out in Texas, and he told me that basically they'll work 12-hour shifts, and basically I forgot the exact schedule. It would be like 14 days straight, and then 14 days off. But then the shifts that he worked in, he said basically you work so much to the point to where all you could do is just go home and go to sleep.
Yep.
And then just wake up for the next day. Like you basically living where you work at, pretty much.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, they have families in a different city that they can't super commute between. They might be living 6, 7, 10 hours, 12 hours away, 24 hours away. They just send their money into their wife and their children. And you know what's going on over there. So this whole called American work culture is destroying you Americans, to the point to where you have to destroy your body just so you can wake up in the morning. Okay, you got a precept?
Yep. It's Galatians 6:8. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption.
Yeah, you're literally reaping corruption, because you're after the illusion of wealth, of a new life. So you're sowing not in the spirit. You're sowing in the flesh to get Federal Reserve notes. And what do you have to do in order for you to keep up on that schedule? You can't do that shit sober. You got to be drunk out your mind, okay, or you got to be high out your mind. So you think these people that are taking these that are working in these oil fields, you don't think these people are on high off coke, high off opioids, okay, high off some type of illegal substance, illegal stimulant to keep their ass going. It said that you can have a 24-hour shift, and they're saying, okay, 12 hours on, 12 hours, but you're going to be enticed by the illusion of wealth, so you're going to work overtime, and this is just not like no regular office job. This is very rigorous work. Okay, this is very very rigorous work around toxic substances too. Okay, that oil that's coming out of the ground, that's toxic. You can't just have that on your skin. It says Pierce and this. Let me see. Yeah, oil workers are not speaking up at work about their addiction for fear of getting fired. Pierce said. So these dudes is totally addicted to coke, heroin. They shooting up. Where are they getting all this stuff from? America is funding this. The America system funds all this. Okay, the way that they set it up, and nobody's talking about the real crises that are going on. Adding that he doesn't have any negative to say about the oil industry, which is the backbone of economic growth in the Permian. Well, yeah, you don't have anything negative to say about it. Well, it is negative though, okay? Because the oil industry is breeding and creating drug addicts. Some field workers and field workers too, slaves. Some field workers and contractors use drug cocktails or various substances depending on the condition they speak to achieve during their 24-hour plus shifts. At the beginning of the long or overnight shift, they would use uppers like cocaine and methamphetamines and finish the shift with downers such as prescription medications or alcohol. You see that? So they have a whole concoction, a whole cocktail of just pure drugs. Okay? Regional evaluators for Prevention Resource Center Region 9, a data repository for 30 countries in West Texas, told Rig Zone, in Region 9, the most screened drugged last year was methamphetamines, and that it was largely in the oil fields, she said. Thanks to the oil boom, the unemployment rate in the Midland is at a record low 2.1%. Okay. And the unemployment rate in the Essen is at a historical low of 2.8. Yeah, that's okay. Thanks to that. But now all these people that are employed, they're addicted to drugs.
You're a slave, a super slave.
You're a super slave. You're working 24 hours a day. So before you even go to work, you go to work at night. You got to take uppers. So you already know caffeine and smoking cigarettes. Then you got to hit methamphetamines, and then you got to sniff coke. And then once that shit start coming down, you so up that now you got to just hit a downer before your shift ends, or you'll just be up for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So now you gotta drink alcohol, okay? And then you gotta pop prescription drugs. And where are they getting these prescription drugs? They're getting it from their pharmacist, from their doctor. Their doctor is prescribing them. So this whole work culture breeds a drug culture. Okay, it creates even the blowback is even at a higher expense than creating jobs. Okay. Let me see down here. This is a quote. We hear stories of guys getting off their shifts, getting a 6-pack or 12-pack on their way home, and start drinking in their truck. This is exactly what happens, man. The Permian drug of choice is crystal meth, a stimulant increasing supply by Mexican drug cartels, according to law enforcement officials who spoke to the House Chronicle in May. This is a strong correlation between the rise of drilling activity and the number of crystal meth seizures by authorities in the Permian area. Houston Chronicle's cross-analysis of data from Texas Department of Public Safety and the Rig Court shows. Eddie Lozoya, a former oil field trucker and recovering addict at 23. This dude's 23, the recovery addict, has recently found a job at a local department store selling shoes, man. So that even all that money, you can't work all those jobs without being on a drug, man. Okay, that's impossible. Your biological clock won't allow you to do it. Okay.
The guy I was talking about at my job that used to do it, he said you make, just like they say, you make good money, but then he said it's not worth it. You can't do nothing.
You can't enjoy it.
You making all that money and you can't even do anything with it. All you can do is just wake up for another day to just go and be a slave.
At least for the next few months, he doesn't plan to return to the oil field. This is such the economy is booming now. Okay, unemployment rate in that area has dropped down to 2.1%. Okay, more jobs are created. Well, actually, more hell is created. You're killing people because it's going to get to the point to where they're not going to be able to function without drugs. What happens when they want to do something new? They're a drug addict.
When you want to sell some shoes at the store, you're a drug addict.
Yeah, you twitching because you want to hit a crystal meth. I don't see myself being able to work 100 hours a week sober. See, there you go. This is a quote. You can't work 100 hours sober, man. You have to be on some heavy witchcraft. He told the Houston Chronicles, the oil field is tough. You had a preset? Or if not, I'm going to bring out this preset and then we can close it.
I had a preset.
Go ahead.
This is Matthew 10:39. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. He that findeth my life, you can go into it.
Oh yeah, he that findeth his life. These guys that, like, for example, like the article going into the oil field, you looking for a job where you making lots of good money. Well, the only jobs where you do make, like the brother was going into, $100K a year, $200K, and so on and so forth. You got to be working to nonstop, 24/7. You got to work on the clock and off the clock. These people that do tech jobs, they still working when they clock out. They don't ever stop working. You got to do emails. You got to make phone calls when you're at home. All they do is just think about work 24/7, just because you want to do what? Make some money. And now that you're making the money, you catching nothing but hell nonstop. You got to be a super slave. You got to be on all type of drugs. You really can't even live your life.
Yeah, you can't enjoy your life anymore. Your life is done now, because now you're on drug. And this is just not isolated to the oil fields. Okay, this is in all fields. Okay, just like the brother was talking about, these tech guys. I actually seen it. They come out of the office building and they hit pipes. They be sniffing coke in the bathroom.
Uppers.
They have to be on uppers. This whole place is addicted to caffeine. Okay, so you got to take 4 or 5 cups of caffeine just to wake up. You got Red Bulls, which increases your heart rate. Okay, then you got to eat this fucked up food, which destroys you. So this whole work culture, it creates an even bigger issue: drugs, drug addiction. Okay, there was Yep, this is it right here. This is let me go up. Revelation 18:20, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast into the sea, saying, "Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all." And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing Babylon being thrown down by violence. Okay, ultimately that ultimate violence is going to be those nuclear missiles, and the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman, or whatsoever craft he be, shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. All right, and this is what's coming to pass. Okay, the total destruction of the work infrastructure here in Babylon. Okay, because everything's going to be destroyed. And what the Lord is doing right now, He's destroying you people. You people are working so hard to achieve just living expenses. You got to work multiple hours just to achieve basic living expenses. Okay, because even if you're making $150,000 a year, that's not going to get you anywhere, because what? You have a super commute. All right, you got to work 16, 17 hours out of the day just to get it. Okay, you have to so-called be on drugs. Or you have to be an alcoholic. Or you have to binge watch Netflix. All right, and then you have to eat this crappy food. Okay, because on top of that, you're working so much so you can't cook.
Yep.
You don't have time to go to the grocery store once a week or twice a week. And then furthermore, your woman, she ain't at home. She got to work herself. So everybody's stressed everybody's stressed the hell out. So what you do, you come home, your woman come home, the kids are in the living room, or the kids are in their room, and y'all two in your room. What y'all doing? Y'all doing crystal meth. Okay, bugging out. And this is what happens. And then when you come down, then you put your clothes on, you take a shower, and you go to work the next day, and you do that perpetually. Okay. And then you go to the doctor, and you say these I have these symptoms, and he gives you more drugs. Okay? And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And that drug culture is part of the sorceries. Because in order to keep up that that so-called demand, all right, because there's an oil demand. So in order for the keep of that demand, you're not going to hire more people. Okay, that's going to be too much. What you're going to do? You're going to work these people to death.
Yep. And whoever can't keep going, you just replace them.
Just replace them, man. All right, that's all. That's what it is. You just replace them. All right, and I'm gonna finish this verse up. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints and all that were slain upon the earth. Okay, and that's here in Babylon. Nowhere else can you say that this prophecy will fit. All right, so this American work culture creates nothing but a drug culture, which destroys people. Okay, even though the numbers as far economically is greater, no, that's an illusion. That's smoke and mirrors. People are even in a more stressed out state than what they were when they could have just worked like your boy said, working at a shoe store.
He actually happy. He said he thinking about going back in a couple months, meaning that he doesn't even know if he want to go back at all.
Said it's not worth it, man. He knows if he does go back, he has to be a drug addict. Because the person right next to him is high out of his mind. And he working like a straight slave, too. When you see them oil workers, they're like robots. They have oil spilling everywhere. They dirty. I mean, any weather, you know. Big-ass drill bits and shit like that. Man, ain't nobody trying to do all that bullshit. Okay, you got to have demons on you, which you have demons on you because you're on drugs. So with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. And until next time, Shalom.